Yo, it's Dr. Cool. Something never thought of or imagined by Western nation is about to happen. Africa has long been seen as a consumer of technology rather than a leader in innovation. However, the groundbreaking work of Maxwell Chikumbutso, a Zimbabwean inventor, challenges this perception. His invention of a self-powered generator and electric vehicle that does not require recharging has the potential to revolutionize the global energy industry. Yet, rather than receiving universal celebration from African leaders, his work has been largely ignored or dismissed.
What sort of agreement do you have with the car manufacturer in terms of having the same technology on another car?
In automotive industry, it's something that is not difficult to do. I think you've seen Mercedes-Benz has been taking batteries from Tesla. Mercedes-Benz right now, they're going to be getting their battery from CATL, which is the solid state battery, like I've said. With Kaya, what we have done, because like I told you, that we approached a few companies before, and they said that you guys were just, maybe you're drunk. So this guy, they said, oh, we are willing to work with you in the journey. If this thing works, then we have to work together. So right now, we are working on that to put an assembling plant in Zimbabwe, to start with an assembling plant. They'll bring their expertise in making cars, we bring our expertise in energy, then we combine the two. So right now, that is what we have agreed. Get the cars test. If it works, let's work together.
This raises a critical question. Why are African governments not rallying behind Chikumbutso's innovations? Is it a lack of belief in his work, or are they afraid of the consequences of challenging Western energy dominance? Given the historical assassination of African leaders like Muammar Gaddafi, who sought to disrupt Western economic control, we must ask, is history repeating itself? Maxwell Chikumbutso, the founder of Scythe Technologies, has claimed to invent a self-powered generator, the green power machine that produces electricity without fuel, 2, an electric car that does not require external charging, running on his self-generating power system, 3, a drone and radio transmitter operating on similar principles. If true, these technologies would completely disrupt the global energy industry by eliminating the need for fossil fuels and battery charging stations. This means oil companies would collapse, since the world would no longer need gasoline or diesel. With such powerful economic forces at risk, it is no surprise that Chikumbutso's work is being met with silence and resistance, especially from African leaders who depend on Western economic partnerships. Let's hear from Maxwell Chikumbutso and his experience with Western cooperation in different shades.
The type of technology Maxwell Chikumbutso claims to be developing seems to be so dangerous that it has put his life at risk, making him to need more protection than anyone else. He claims that it's not about boasting, but if you see how groundbreaking his technology is, you will know why it's threatening to some companies.
If you see my groundbreaking technologies, I'm not trying to boast, no, but our technology can work in anything. It can work in a car, it can work in a TV, it can work in a light bulb. So this is something that is threatening the whole energy sector. We are sort of like rewriting history. And no control of that. No, you cannot do that. I've got a number of companies for the past week coming to me saying, no, sell this technology to us, just leave it. Until now.
At the end of this video, we'll play one of Maxwell's interviews where he discusses these threats in depth in his own words. Maxwell himself has hinted in interviews that his life is in danger. And when you look at what such invention can do, it's easy to see why. His microsonic energy device promises free, unlimited energy, a technology that could topple big oil corporations, end the battery industry, and disrupt every form of energy production we rely on today. If successful, it would shift the balance of power, leaving Maxwell in control of the energy that runs everything for free. And that's something many powerful entities will not want to happen. This has led to serious consequences for Maxwell. He claims that while in the US, there was an attempt on his life that left him hospitalized.
We were poisoned at that time. Dr. Teddy didn't make it. He died in January 2017. I survived by the grace of God.
The incident impacted his health, resulting in the loss of one of his organs, but also led to the death of his main business partner. It doesn't stop there. Investors who supported Maxwell's work have also met tragic fates under mysterious circumstances. For example, Genius, who we have mentioned earlier, passed away in mysterious accident that was claimed to have been well orchestrated by unknown people.
Partner would have been partner, the man who sponsored you, okay, the first one who gave you 120,000, okay, passed away through poisoning, and now Jinimbi dies just less than 3 years later. Sorry, Jinimbi died in 2020, isn't it? Yeah. Reports suggesting that he was assassinated. That he was killed. I used assassinate there. It's an inappropriate term, but he was killed. That someone tampered with his car, and he was on target to be killed.
Nkoma Simba, I think I don't have the right to answer that question. I think the police were kind of accident scene. They know Bakatarisa. Inini.
Another investor, Dr. Teddy, who Max saw him like an angel investor, reportedly invested $120,000 in Maxwell's invention, also died under mysterious circumstances in South Africa, suspected to have been a poisoning case by doctors. These events suggest that powerful forces are working to prevent Maxwell's technology from ever seeing the light of day. Maxwell claims he's not even safe in his home country of Zimbabwe.
Well, one would expect that an African inventor making such a groundbreaking energy discovery would receive immediate government support. Instead, Chikumbutso has faced neglect and rejection, both within Zimbabwe and across Africa. Even as the president of Zimbabwe offers full support for the aggressive expansion of this technology, this isn't enough considering the risk and how huge and disruptive this technology is. Here's why. 1. Fear of Western retaliation. African governments have historically been pressured by Western nations and corporations to align with global economic structures. Any leader who openly supports a technology that threatens Western oil, gas, and electricity companies risks economic sanctions, loss of Western financial aid, political destabilization.
Sub-Saharan Africa has been fundamental to the global prosperity of the advanced countries. And Africa had a role to play. It has a role as a raw material producer. We will not allow Sub-Saharan Africa to escape that. Okay, we do everything to keep Sub-Saharan Africa where it is, also impoverished. It's absolutely vital for the prosperity of everyone else. So let's get clear about that. Okay, and this means all the economic structures, all the global institutions, and the economics we teach everyone is all designed to keep Africa exactly where it is. And whether it is Europe or US or now China, it's always the same. We need Africa to be impoverished because we need those raw materials and we need them dirt cheap. Okay, so that's the message. It doesn't mean to say that there's nothing Africans can do. Of course there is. This is what it's about. Because if Africa does do something different,
believes Zimbabweans are capable of spearheading game-changing, first-of-a-kind innovations that challenge the world's traditional ways of doing things.
I assure you, living standards of all those in Europe and North America and Asia is going to fall. Okay? And that is a big price to pay. I assure you that the West is not going to allow that without a big fight. Okay? So the job of many Western academics is to convince Africans they have to keep doing what they're doing. Okay? And to show them it's your fault that you're poor. It's not our fault. It's your fault that you're poor. So this is what we do in academic institutions. We know the basic forces that have caused this underdevelopment. We know it's colonization. We cannot afford to allow Africa to industrialize and start producing manufactures. Okay, so we will do everything to stop that. And I'm going to show you how we actually block that. We had East Asian rapid industrialization processes. So in the earlier period, we had Japan and Korea and Taiwan. Okay, rapid growth, sucking in raw materials from Africa, driving up the prices. After those countries finished industrialization, then sub-Saharan African growth rate again fell. Sub-Saharan Africa is condemned to this role, just the supplier of raw materials, not a manufacturer. The currencies are collapsing of these countries, and many of them are sub-Saharan African countries. After colonization ended, we needed new structures to keep these countries where they were. Okay? And the first of those is aid. Okay, we give them aid. Aid for what? Actually, we give them aid to keep repressive regimes in power. That's all. All the hypocrisy about transparency and democracy and bullshit like that, it's all bullshit. But it would go to country after country offering loans. And if the president did not accept the loan, they were killed. It's just economics. It's economic warfare. The rich declare war on the poor. It happens everywhere. It happens in a country. The rich control the government. Of course they do. You really believe you have democracy? Come on. Grow up. Who has all the subsidies and income support? US, Europe. The largest budgets in the world for supporting their farmers are Europe and US. You see, we're keeping them dependent. We're keeping them on a string. This next round of the WTO is designed to block that. To block anyone else getting on top of the ladder.
History shows us how the West has responded to African leaders who challenge global economic control, the most notable being Muammar Gaddafi of Libya. In 2011, NATO forces invaded Libya, leading to the murder of Gaddafi, who had been working on a gold-backed African currency to replace the US dollar for African trade. His vision threatened Western banking dominance, and as a result, he was removed under the pretense of a humanitarian intervention. Could the same fate await Chikumbutso and any African leader who backs his invention? Maxwell Chikumbutso further highlights through a voice note.
Is Maxwell's invention so revolutionary that it's worth killing for? Or is there more to the story?
You know, I want to tell you something that happened last year. I was in hospital. I was dying to say. That's when I was poisoned. Someone, in some way, I won't give the name of the country, they sent a sniper to kill me. Information was received and was picked. We reported it to the police. The report was made to anti-terrorism as well. So I just wanted to point to you. But right now, I thank God, we are working on something for Zimbabwe. So a lot of things happened. Yeah, I think you are aware that I lost a business partner who was poisoned, and I was also a victim of poison. Like last year, it was a very terrible year for me. I lost a kidney due to poison.
Oh no! So the business partner you lost, is this the Angolan man who had given you some money?
Yes.
The Angolan man from South Africa.
Yes, that's the man that we lost first. I think it was in January 2017. That's when he died. It was a very sad death, you know. It's like, because of those kind of things, I should not delay a process, because in me, I'm not a businessman, like I always tell people, but I'm a gifted person in the field of science, to say. What I know best is scientific related things, not the business. So he was running the business and I was focusing on the technical side, but unfortunately...
If a self-powered generator replaces oil and electricity grids, trillions of dollars in Western corporate profits disappear. If an African invention becomes the new standard for energy, Africa would shift from being an economic follower to a global leader. Western corporations will not allow this to happen easily. The Libya example serves as a warning to any African leader who dares to support a radical shift in global economic power. Historically, when Africa produces a game-changing leader or innovation, the response has often been assassination, sabotage, or economic warfare. Examples of Western interference in Africa's economic independence: Patrice Lumumba, Congo, 1961. Assassinated after pushing for true Congolese independence from Western corporations controlling minerals. Thomas Sankara, Burkina Faso, 1987. Murdered after implementing economic policies that removed Western dependency. Muammar Gaddafi in Libya in 2011 was overthrown and executed after proposing an African gold-backed currency. Chikumbutso's invention is not just a scientific breakthrough, it is a threat to the current global economic system. If African leaders do not act quickly, history shows that 1. His technology could be suppressed, stolen, or discredited. 2. He could face persecution or assassination. 3. Africa could lose its chance to become the leader in energy technology. If Africa wants to secure its position as a global leader in energy technology, it must take immediate action. 1. African governments must publicly support Chikumbutso. Governments must invest in and protect African innovations rather than waiting for Western validation. 2. Pan-African collaboration on technology. African nations must work together to create research institutions that protect and develop African-led technology. 3. Build stronger security for African inventors. African innovators must be protected from foreign threats. Governments must take cyber and physical security seriously, ensuring that breakthroughs are not hacked, stolen, or destroyed. 4. Reject Western sabotage and economic control. African leaders must stop bowing to Western corporations that want to maintain control. It's time for Africa to own its resources and technology rather than allowing foreign interference. Maxwell Chikumbutso's work represents Africa's chance to lead the global energy revolution. However, history has shown that any major disruption to Western economic power is met with hostility, suppression, and even assassination. African leaders must learn from the fate of Gaddafi and recognize that their silence is enabling the continued dominance of the West. Instead of waiting for approval, Africa must take ownership, protect its own, and rise as a global leader in technology and energy independence. This is more than just a story about one inventor. This is about Africa's future economic freedom and sovereignty. The time to act is now.